When the German bacteriologists Robert Koch and Friedrich Loeffler provided the first evidence that tiny, invisible microbes enter the body and cause diseases. This is germ theory. The microscope enabled scientists to see the pathogens, document them, and in doing so, disprove popular beliefs such as that sinful behavior invites illness or that poisonous vapors called miasmas cause disease. The uncontrollable dancing movements of St. Anthony's fire, once ascribed to satanic influence, are now known to result from claviceps purpurea, a fungus that infects rye. Malaria is now known to be caused not by bad air, but by a single-celled plasmodium, a parasite of the female Anopheles mosquito. Contemporary researchers on 5 continents continue to unmask microbial roots of illness, and they now recognize that events as seemingly trivial as a sore throat or a case of measles or even the flu can breed anorexia, Tourette's, obsessive-compulsive disorder, or schizophrenia. Researchers in the field estimate that infectious organisms cause from 10% to 75% of some serious mental disorders. In 1997, I glimpsed the extent to which mental illnesses are connected to infection when I happened upon an Italian medical journal article that linked schizophrenia to bornavirus, which causes a fatal encephalitis in Central European sheep and horses. It asked whether humans acquire the virus from horses and whether such infections can cause schizophrenia. The article found a strong correlation between infection and illness, but no proof. Thus, it was inconclusive, and so were subsequent studies, as I learned when I called the investigators. I was disappointed, but my curiosity was piqued as I searched for evidence of causal connections between infection and mental illness. I quickly found them, but many were lodged in the past. General paresis, cases of which once filled 1 of every 5 New York City asylum beds, is caused by a familiar disease, syphilis. When scientists discovered that penicillin cured syphilis, they also discovered a cure for this common mental disease. Now one must travel to the developing world to see a case. In 1997, I learned of Paul Ewald, a visionary evolutionary biologist whose work describes a second wave of germ theory. He has elegantly argued for the unperceived importance of infection as an explanation of much human disease. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other infectious agents are responsible for many of the illnesses that we have long ascribed to genetics, behaviors, and even personality types. Cervical cancer, for example, was long chalked up to sexual immoderation, but is now known to be triggered by certain strains of the human papillomavirus, just as the hepatitis C virus causes hepatitis C. 90% of ulcers, which were long attributed to unmanaged stress and treated with milk, antacids, and the acid-lowering drug Tagamet, are actually caused by a bacterium, Helicobacter pylori, although stress may impair an ulcer's healing. Many heart attacks, long ascribed to aggressive, hostile type A personalities, are now recognized as the legacy of the bacterium Chlamydophila pneumoniae, as well as various gut bacteria. In 1997, I also discovered the work of Dr. Susan Swedo, who proposed an intriguing syndrome fingering Group A streptococcal bacteria, or GAS bacteria, as the culprit in children who developed symptoms of anorexia, obsessive-compulsive disorder, or Tourette's in the wake of strep throats. She was actively seeking proof and a mechanism in human studies with scores of adolescents, many of whom had been brought to her clinics at the National Institute of Mental Health by their worried parents. I reported on these exciting developments in Psychology Today, but aside from Swedo's fledgling human studies, I found little contemporary evidence, just tantalizing correlations between infections and madness. I periodically looked into the state of research linking microbes and mental disorders, and in 2013 I realized that it was burgeoning. With the acknowledgement of epigenetics, scientists moved away from exclusively genetic models of disease, including mental disease, and this made it easier to contemplate microbial causes and risk factors. The pioneering